Hello, welcome to In Real Life. So, this is one of what will be many honest conversations about motherhood. And so it actually is not that kind of polished Pinterest version. So, I am genuinely so excited to be talking to you, Rachel, because we know each other well. But one thing we have in common is balancing motherhood, running a business, and kind of, I wanted to talk to you about redefining what success looks like as a mum. Um, so first of all, tell me a bit about what your current version of motherhood looks like. You're out of the baby years, and has the challenge just changed shape, or how are things now?
Yeah, so my children now, Finn is 11, Rose is 9, and George is 6. And it's absolutely flown. So Fern's in year 6 at the moment. So next year she'll be in secondary school, which is, a whole new world. I think one of my neighbours said to me when they were really little that once your children can get in the car and fasten their own seatbelt, everything changes. And I do think, yeah, like once you can say to them, put your shoes on, get this, come on, let that once they can start to do that, is life does get so much easier in those very, very early years where, I had a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old and a baby where, when you've not had much sleep and you've not had much sleep for years, and that's a really challenging time. So we're out the other side of that. And I think I was a primary school teacher. I taught year 6, and that's kind of like my year 4 to year 6 age is a really fun age. I'm really enjoying this stage of parenting at the moment where they're still really little, but we're having a lot of fun, which is really nice. So yeah, I love being a mum. It's my favorite thing. Yeah, I've loved every stage of it so far, and I'm excited for all the next bits as well. It's the best thing.
I love it, and I love different stages for different reasons, which is lovely as they grow and you have these amazing conversations with them. One thing I find really hard is with having a business as well is that I'm constantly sort of switching identities. I don't know about you, especially if I'm sort of struggling going from if I'm working at home to being sort of in that mindset and then quickly pick them up from school and I suddenly have to become like a fun mum all of a sudden. Do you find that you've got that kind of shift where you've still got emails pinging in from a supermarket buyer, but then you're having to like do the afternoon snack?
Yeah, 100%. And I think in the first years of Fearne Rosie, that's what my life was very much like. And I think I didn't take any time off really, and was either I was being a mum, and therefore I still would say that I've got more time to I need to do a better job of kind of making more time. I think at the moment I've done a better job of like work and family, but I still am guilty sometimes of working too hard and then getting too tired because I haven't put the time in to kind of look after myself. So that's still a learning. But I think in the beginning I didn't have any time off, and then one of the things I did was I changed like my contract or the way I work at Fearne Rosie. So although I am the founder of Fearne Rosie, I'm still responsible to like the people that work in my team, our investors, our retail buyers. So I think I decided to change the way I was working. So I formally requested to be able to work reduced hours over the school holidays. And then I also requested to not work Fridays. So originally I said I wanted to work reduced hours over the school holidays, which meant that changes on different things. Sometimes it means I only work a couple of days and I'll have the rest of the week off, or sometimes it might mean I work all mornings and I have all afternoons off. It all changes depending on what everybody needs, but I have that built in now. So I know that that is fair for everybody. But then I still felt that because I was working full time, I was running from business to family and not having any time. So that's when I asked if I could take Fridays, because having the Friday, like cleaning my house, doing the washing, going for a walk, seeing my mum, all those things I get to do on a Friday. And I still, if things are happening in work and work's busy, I do still have to do work on a Friday. Of course I do. But I think having that expectation for me has really helped. So I think just trying to be kind and not take on too much and be honest about when it is too much is helpful.
Yeah. Did you find it kind of caught you off guard trying to do both? I kind of thought I would be able to smash it. And I was looking at other people being like, yeah, this is fine. I can totally run a business and
Yeah.
see my friends and look after the children and drink enough water and clean the
Oh,
house.
good for one. I can do all those things. Yeah. And you can't do everything. And I thought I could be a teacher. Like I thought I can be a teacher. I can run a business. You can't do all those things. So my friend, when I was still teaching, I remember ringing my friend Sally in tears and just crying and being like, I can't do all these things. I'm just so tired. And Sally said, well, no, Rach, because you've got 3 jobs and nobody can do 3 jobs. Because I was teaching, running Fearne Rosie and being a parent. And that advice I think is really helpful. And I always still remember it. Like sometimes you're just making yourself too busy and you need to just stop.
Because you end up not doing anything properly at
Yeah,
that point.
I think so. But I do think it's hard, like you said, to transition from work to home. But I also think that would maybe be the same in any job. Like I think when I was teaching, I would have found, I found it hard to move from teaching to parenting. It is just hard. I think the world we live in is so fast paced. Everything comes flying at you. Something I find really helpful is like prioritizing tasks and understanding like what things are important and what things are not important. And that's the same at work, but also the same with family. I think
If another mum was watching this now and she feels that she's trying to balance it all and feels like she's failing at doing that, what would you say to her, or your friend, that if it was the other way around and Sally came to you in tears trying to do it all, what would you say to her?
um, the piece of work that I find really helpful is there was a quote by Brian Dyson. Have you heard of Brian Dyson? The CEO of Coke. So Brian Dyson is the CEO of Coke, and he said, there's 5 balls of life, and they are work, family, health, friends, and spirit. And at any one time, some of those are glass balls and some of those are plastic balls. So you can drop the plastic balls, they'll bounce. You can drop the glass. If you drop the glass balls, they will smash. And then a girl called Nora Roberts came along and she said, well, there's not 5 balls, there's 55 balls. And actually, yes, family is a glass ball. So being a parent, being a good mom, that is a glass ball. But remembering that your children was supposed to wear like a yellow top because it's yellow day, that's a plastic ball. And if you've dropped that plastic ball and forgotten to do that, that doesn't mean that you're a bad mom or that you've smashed your family ball. It just means that you've dropped a plastic ball. And sometimes work is a glass ball. And I think just kind of we're all trying really hard to be perfect all the time and nobody is perfect. So as soon as you just kind of go, well, sorry, we're all trying our best, you'll make life a little bit easier for yourself, I think.
Yeah, I think it's really important I think all need to be kinder to ourselves. And I was
Yeah.
really being like super strict about everything and wanting everything to be perfect. And actually, it's not Freddie, it's Ottie. She's really chilled out, which is great. And I remember one day I took her to school and she should have been in forest school stuff rather than her uniform or whatever. I'd got it wrong. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I've done this wrong. And she was like, nah, I don't care. I'll just wear school in my school uniform. I was like, oh, so you can. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And then after that, I think it's about lowering the bar on the stuff where you can, and it's fine. Nothing's going to happen. And someday I was speaking to in one of these other conversations that said, just remember that one bad day doesn't make you a bad parent, which I love.
Yeah. Yeah, agree. That's really nice. And it doesn't, and we're all so hard on ourselves. But I think what's interesting is everybody's having the same. It's funny, isn't it? Somebody said to me that you kind of go out in the world and everybody goes out in the world and goes, hi, how are you? And then you just kind of maybe don't get past that fact that actually everyone's having a hard time. Everybody's got loads of stuff going on. We're all trying our best. So yeah, I just think trying to be kind to yourself and to everybody is really important.
Yeah. So, I mean, what I like to ask at the end of these things is, what do you wish more mums felt less pressure about? And I think we've said that it's just less pressure and just being kind to yourself.
100% you need to be but also like there's that you can't pour from an empty cup, so you might think that you're being selfish looking after yourself. You're actually not. You're actually being kind to you and to your family by making sure that you're okay, because if you don't do that, how can you help everybody else? So I think just being kind to yourself, that will help you be kind to everybody else. But yeah, everyone's trying really hard.
Yeah. And I think prioritizing those things that make you happy, whatever they are, whether that's exercise or having time for a walk or reading a book or whatever it is that you're doing. Like, I always feel guilty if I go for a run, but actually I'm a much better mum to everybody after that run. And that half an hour that I've been doing that means that the next 23 and a half hours of the day, I'm a much nicer person to be around.
So I'm really out of habit at the moment. I love running and I am not doing it at the moment, and I really need to get back into it. I've said that I'm going to go for a run tomorrow because I haven't done it for ages. So I want to go tomorrow and I want to go on Friday. I do think when I'm running regularly, I am a better person. So it's actually it's really important. And when
It
you
works.
fall out there, because for me, the first thing I drop is sleep, and then the second thing I drop is exercise. And then once you've done that for a period of time, you can only do that for so long before
Yeah.
it's not sustainable.
And you're no help to anybody at that point.
No, but yeah, I really want to go running again.
I will text you tomorrow and make sure that you've gone for a run
Yeah,
and can you stay
yeah,
inside and make sure that I go for my run tonight.
yeah. Oh, good. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna do it. I am gonna do it.
Amazing. Right. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me today. And I think what I love is that the same message keeps coming up is about just being kinder to ourselves. But thank you for chatting with me today, Rachel. It is a pleasure as always.
Thank you so much, and see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.